This is your Pain Game podcast, where we talk about the game of living in and with chronic pain and trauma, getting to the heart of how to heal. I am your host, Lindsay Soprano. On this show, I plan on discussing with doctors, chronic pain patients, holistic practitioners, loved ones, and anybody that is interested in having their voice heard in the chronic pain and trauma world that we live in. Well, guys, today marks my 1-year anniversary of this podcast. Woohoo! 52 weeks ago today, I launched the first episode of the Pain Game podcast. When I concepted this show idea, it was about 4 years ago or so. I started drafting ideas, names for the show, branding exercises, my approach, but needed to find my voice and purpose in a very sad and dark place in my life, where I was stuck, and I'm still stuck with a devastating diagnosis while in excruciating pain, right? So here I am trying let's start this new adventure. Oh my gosh. And at first, when I was concepting, I was basically just going to complain about living in chronic pain. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. That does nobody any good. And I would have failed epically, at least in my opinion. So when I decided to go about my show with it being centered on purpose, and from a place of wanting to heal myself from not only physical pain, but a life riddled with trauma, massive amounts of abuse, sadness, addiction, work-a-holism, divorce, and. My purpose began to kind of show itself. And the purpose has ended up being my pain. And it sounds like a sort of fairy tale, like your purpose and you're feeling all great, but then it's pain and you're like, wait, what? But it's true. That's kind of my jam. It's kind of my kind of tale, like a sort of fairy tale. So 52 weeks straight here of the Pain Game podcast has made a monumental shift and change in the way I see, feel, think, and approach my life. And my life has been so crazy, guys. I mean, and anybody that knows me, even in the slightest, even if you've been listening to this show, knows this to be true. My life is nuts. I'm crazy. I'm a little crazy, guys. It has been complicated, dark, traumatizing, scary, but it has also been unbounded and amazing and fun and fabulous and adventurous and fulfilling. And through all of these ups and downs and ebbs and flows that I've been through, they led me to this show, right? And during this time, I feel like I for sure have cried at least 1,000 oceans worth of tears to get where I am. And I might cry 3,000 more, but those tears are filled with purpose now and not despair and not sadness. It was so sad, guys. So sad. So for those who might be listening to the show for the first time today, welcome and thank you for being here. You can get your soda and your popcorn and your snacks on the right. For my groupie VIPs, you are the reason that I wake up and rock this place. And for the casual here and there listeners, keep on listening. There's always a spot for you around here, right? And my guests also feel that way. When I look back to when I started to think about the Pain Game podcast project, I thought my pain level was off the charts. My God, I wish my pain level was what it was 4 years ago. That was like nothing. What a sissy. I wish I felt as good as I did 4 years ago when it comes to my physical pain. But honestly, when I get honest with myself, at that point in my life, I didn't really think that much of myself. Like I didn't have self-esteem. I was in self-sabotage mode, and there are a lot of things that happen. So not all of this is because of pain and CRPS that attributed to the self-sabotage. But that mode lasted for a few years. I thought I would just rather die than be alive in this kind of pain. And I won't lie that there aren't days now that I think, gosh, heaven would be fucking great right now because Earth is blowing. This is it. This is it. This is what I get, right? But as I reflect on the past year and what I've learned about myself and my place in this world, I feel like I've piled 10 years of learning into one. And I owe so much of that to this show and my listeners friends, family, and of course, my number one squeeze and cheerleader, my sweetie. You know, each and every day I wake up only wanting to be here behind the mic, making mischief, being depraved with my salty language and my crazy stories and antics and meeting such incredible people. That's what I wake up for. That's what gets me out of bed, giving my pain purpose, my pain purpose. And by giving my pain purpose, I'm also giving others' pain their purpose. And that makes my heart full. I mean, I could sit around here feeling sorry for myself. You know, I always say the line, like eating bonbons and watching Netflix all day. I don't even know if bonbons exist anymore, quite frankly, but we all know what they are. They're little ice creams covered in chocolate and they're heaven. I could sit here eating bonbons, feeling sorry for myself and getting hung up on all of my failures, be let down over and over again by Western medicine and pain doctors and be let down by people that I have chosen to forgive in my life within this past year and some change and have let go of because I didn't need them anymore in my life because I am fighting for a cure for a disease that has none and leaves me in physical pain 24 hours a day. Those guys that I don't need in my life anymore, those people, those things, those clients, the stuff, whatever, it's all in my rearview mirror, right? So I've shifted my mindset to give this pain of mine purpose, my sort of fairy tale of mine. And it's now started to not be just a sort of fairy tale. Now it's starting to actually be a fairy tale and one that I will tell. And I am just getting started, right? Oh gosh. So in this reflection, putting this episode together was really weird and wonky because I'm not a scripted person on this show at all. And some of this has been because I've needed to get some words out and some stuff out that I needed to be very succinct on. But over my entire life, I have chosen to be silent about 100% of the trauma that has happened in my life. And now I'm 100% vocal and 100% vulnerable and 100% honest. That in of itself has led me to a healthier place. I have a healthier mindset and a view of the world and my place in it that I've never been able to experience. And that's because of this show and the people that have been a part of it and that have helped me do this. It's amazing. It's a place where I have established boundaries. Like I finally stick up for my damn self. People that would meet me would be like, what? You don't have self-esteem? You don't stick up for yourself? Oh my gosh, guys, I'm a big fake. I am a faker. And I haven't really said that out loud. And I don't necessarily care for it all that much. But yeah, I've lied. I've pretended. I've tried to fit into every square hole or round peg, which is completely counterintuitive, right? I've morphed myself into a person that I never really was based on who I was around, the circumstances I was in, and who may or may not be uncomfortable around me or my demeanor and my salty language or whatever. I've been walking around on eggshells for 45 years and I'm not doing it anymore. And that is a big win. I mean, a big win because I've been a fraud to myself. I've lived a life with a shit ton of fantastic memories. I've lived a wild and crazy existence. But I've also lived a very lonely and sad existence in the midst of all of this person that I created that was outside of myself to please others. I mean, there's a picture of me at peoplepleaser.com. It's just me. It's my face. I'm just there. And through this process, this crazy lady here, I find myself asking, why have I crucified myself for all of these years to find myself here with scars that are fully visible to me, both inside and out? Why did I always feel like every finger in the room was pointing at me? Why did I always feel the need to please everyone but me? That's tough. That's a tough thing to swallow. You know, we've uncovered a lot of that why did, why do, why this, why that on this show over the past year and some change. And we'll continue to uncover it as that we continue to give our lives purpose together. And what it comes down to is this. I needed to make up my mind to love me as much as others did. And that was a really strange awakening for me because I'm like, okay, I love myself. I think I'm kind of cute, you know, like I dig myself or whatever. I've never been a cocky person. I may have come across that way, that I have all of this confidence. I haven't at all. All a big fraud. I'm calling fraud to the stand. Yes, Your Honor, that's me. You know, I needed to make up my mind to love me. And I finally do. And those that don't fit into this new version of me, this Lindsay 4.0, I mean, it's probably should be 100.0 because God, let's be real. I've been through like 100 lives, right? If you don't fit into this new version of Lindsay, you're lost in my rearview mirror, babe. That's it. It's nice knowing you. Sorry. Love you. Mean it. Pack your bags and get the hell out of here because I'm not interested in any of that anymore. And over the past 52 weeks, I have had the absolute privilege to interview amazingly strong women and men who have fought battles that they almost lost, who have moved from blah to awe. Ooh, that's not bad, Lindsay. That's not bad. Moving from blah to awe. I might need to buy that domain because people that know me very closely, I'm a domain name junkie. But anyways, I cannot name all of these people here today, but there are a few that have made an extra special little spot in my heart over the past 52 weeks. I'm going to start with Angie Weber from episode 16. The episode is called Breaking Generational Cycles. Girl, I love our now weekly Talk Shit Tuesday on Zoom. I have learned better ways to break unhealthy cycles in households with or without children. And I've also learned to love you in jeans.
We're not strengthening their suffering muscle. And if they don't have a strengthened suffering muscle, when they are a teenager or when they are in their early adulthood, if they get rejection from a romantic partner or they get a rejection from a job, they're not going to know how to deal with it. If your parent isn't around to fix that, they might go into some drastic behaviors. They might think that that's the end of it, that they don't want to go on anymore. I mean, there's so many things that get wrapped into it. So even though we're trying to do it from a loving place, we need to let our kids fail and we need to teach them the tools they can use in order to recover from that.
Amanda Kate, episode 17, you divine and messy human you. Not only are you now a soul sister, one that will forever be part of the fabric of my being, I have also watched you grow and change and continue to be a fucking rock star for you, your kids, your sweetie, your clients, and for me and this show.
That idea of people pleasing automatically puts other people superior to yourself. And you are never going to reach that height, ever, because it's impossible. You can never make somebody else happy. You can never make somebody else, like you. And nobody ever got a chance to know the real me, because I was always showing them the person I thought they wanted me to be.
Then we moved to episode 23, Lauren Fonville. Okay, girl. It's called Tap into Emotional Freedom. Your spirit and energy, I can only strive to be as beautiful of a spirit as you. So thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable with you and for letting me be depraved and make you laugh at it. Tap, tap-a-roo, my sweet.
The definition of emotion is energy in motion. This idea that our emotions need to be felt. They want to be felt. I think that's an important thing to acknowledge because a lot of the time when we're talking about emotions that are uncomfortable, like sadness, frustration, anger, we tend to push that stuff down and we distract ourselves with something else so that we don't have to feel those uncomfortable emotions, right? And that can work in the short term, right? Maybe you throw yourself into your work or you throw yourself onto your couch and you're eating too much or drinking too much, whatever it is to not feel those things. But when we take the time to really acknowledge how we're feeling, then that emotion can begin to move through us. And it doesn't continually feel like we're running from the emotion, but we're moving through it and we're moving forward and we can make progress in that way. You got to feel it to heal it, baby.
Adam Slater from episode 25, The Hypocrisy of Doctors and Devices. This came from the Netflix documentary. There was an attorney on that documentary called The Bleeding Edge in regards to the medical device industry. I just wanted to thank you, man, for being a champion of women and for fighting for our bodies, our rights, and for helping to curb the enthusiasm that is our medical device industry. So thanks, man, for being a part of this show and this journey.
It's almost like a woman's body is something to be operated on, to be experimented on, to be a source of money, because every procedure generates money. And And I think until the medical profession takes a step back and acknowledges where this has gone, I don't know if the problem is going to really end.
Fitz Kohler from episode 26, Living Life Noisy and at Full Volume. Fitz, my girl. Nobody has fought cancer like you have in my world, and words cannot describe how much love I have for you from the tips of my toes to the top of my head. Thank you for coming into my life and for getting me to finish lines, because this one has me doing 5Ks in my wheelchair like a badass and meets me at the finish line. And she is just freaking amazing. If you haven't listened to that episode 26, you guys got to jump in on it.
I have no interest in giving this disease an extra badge of honor on my chest. It's already left its scars. It's left my head bald. It's left all sorts of marks on Fitz Kohler. I'm dinged up. That's fine. But I'm not wearing the rah-rah breast cancer t-shirt that's like, I'm the breast cancer warrior. And I know so many women and men love that stuff. And I'm happy it makes them feel stronger. For me, it makes me feel weaker. It makes me feel victimized. And I say no.
Mary Krause from episode 27, an unbounded badass woman that you are. You know, who would have thought that we'd wind up over a decade later making music or podcast sound together to help others? You know, you've always been an inspiration to me from the moment that I met you, and you will continue to inspire me each and every day, no matter what kind of mountain I climb, no matter where I am.
The speed of the climb is not the important piece. It's the direction of the climb. There's no such thing as flatline. You're either working up or you're working down. And the speed of that is not the important piece. It's the direction.
Then we bump up to episode 32 with Shelley Loving, your relationship with food. Shelley, your daily demonstration of a healthy relationship with food makes me eat now. And those that have listened to the show know that I struggle with disordered eating. And this one has made me eat more. So that's because of you. Obviously, there's a little element of me that's there, but it is because of you that I have started to eat. So I wanted to thank you. And I also want more tattoos because of you as well. So it's kind of like a double hitter.
I just want people to understand that food is, it's the one relationship that we all have to have our entire life from birth to death. We all have to eat. So it's the closest relationship we're ever going to have with anybody or anything. So we've got to love it. We have to take care of it and nurture it like a marriage, right? We can't not eat.
Then we go to episode 36 with Rachel Kalmar called Gut Wrenching Pain, where we talk about our gut and our health within that, which we talk about throughout multiple episodes throughout the first year of this show, how important our gut is. It's another little brain. But where do I begin with you, Rach? The universe brought us together to teach each other so many things. And you are now one of my closest friends, my business partner, and yet another crazy dog lady in my life. And I love you for that.
You can think of your stomach acid as your army. It's like your first line of defense against infection. They are your soldiers, like your internal soldiers keeping you protected. And you knock those guys out and you eat something contaminated of any sort. That's where your body can't then protect itself.
Then we go to Dr. Andrea Moore in episode 48. This is an amazing episode, you guys. Your body has a message for you. Like, dude. Andrea and I, we share so many things from post-concussive to anxiety to chronic pain. And you show us all how to be a rock star in this world, painful journey or not. You are a huge inspiration to me on the daily. And I kind of want to shave my head again every time I see you.
Pretty much all of the women I see are doing all the right things on paper, or they're doing exactly what they've been told. And they are trying harder and harder and harder, and often don't need to try harder. It's actually about finding where can you actually let go some. Like, what if you didn't have to try so hard?
On to episode 49 with JK Emezi. He is nothing but amazing. Pornography addicts get rebooted. Not only, JK, do you have the sexiest voice on the planet for podcasting ever, your story about pornography addiction was such an eye-opening conversation about our sexual tendencies, intimacy, addiction as a whole, and has opened up a space for others to be vulnerable, but feel safe with you by their side.
I could not view women as the concept of intimacy was completely missing. I had spent thousands of hours just being a spectator in other people's lives. And I tell my clients, like, if you don't think you have a problem with pornography, just remember that you have watched more naked people having sex than every ancestor that came before you. Like you have seen more of them. And that was very difficult because in my mind, everything was a scene. Like you met the woman and for some reason she thought you were hot because you were the plumber or the pizza guy, whatever.
And last but certainly not least, Leslie Amazing Logan from episode 50. Yes, her middle name is amazing because I gave it to her. That episode is called Perfectionism is Painfully Overrated. Girl, just when I thought I should color code more and organize other people's refrigerators, you show up in my life and on this show, and you have seriously tipped my scale and my view on perfectionism so quickly, it's mind-boggling. And how much of that in my life that I've wasted so much time and energy on, and it's held me back from being the best version of myself. And every time I want to turn something like labels facing out, it hurts me to not do it. But every time I do it, I think of you.
It is a darn shame when you are not able to be the most amazing version of yourself for others. You're actually keeping people from having the experience that they could have from you, and your experience with you, their experience with you might be the thing that they need to learn their thing. And so, like, my goodness, we're actually keeping people from possible opportunities because we're not taking care of ourselves first. We're also not loving people fully when we don't take care of ourselves first. We're not loving ourselves. So it's impossible to love others more than you love yourself. And so it just becomes this ripple effect of everybody just being exhausted, burnt out, sick, and tired, and pain. And we wonder why the world's going down.
I wish I could have gone through every single one of my guests and throw shouts out, but I can't. You guys will fall asleep and snore, right? I do also want to thank some of my friends that came on the show early on when I started to help me kick this party off. Thank you for your vulnerability, your honesty, your love of yourself, others, and me. I love you all more than words could ever say. So that is a wrap of a frickin' year and a doozy year it's been. Thank you to my producer, Steve, for all you have done for me and for our show. You are such an amazing guy and loyal, and I am grateful for you and all you do for the show, for me, and for our listeners. Last but not least, of course, I have to throw a shout out to my sweetie. Without you, my purpose can only be lived 50%. You are my other half in all of this. Thank you for loving me through all of this journey then, over the past 6 years, now, and forever. And I love you, babe. Thank you so much for everything that you do every single day for me. We have some amazing episodes coming for you in the wings, so get ready to rumble. What's coming up? So we've got the emotional chaos of cancer, which is an episode that is like, you have got to listen to this episode. We have another couple episodes that are coming out about disordered eating, and they're all a little different, which is interesting because not everybody fits into the same bucket, right? When it comes to disordered eating. So you're going to want to hop in and listen to a couple of those coming up. We've got we've got fighting the monster within addiction. We've got healing ancient trauma, which is really interesting topic because we talk about our ancestry and we talk about things that have happened in our past before we were even born. That's part of our DNA, things that happened in our ancestry. It's really interesting to talk about how you can heal from our ancestry and the trauma that it's been brought into our own lives and our bods. Gamification. We also have trafficking and abuse, which is not so crazy. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for you to hear that. We've got the power of plants and ayahuasca and so much more. So you are exclusively invited to share this VIP pain journey together. Let's get to the heart of how to heal with you by my side. Do you know somebody that is living in and with chronic pain? If you do, send them our way here to the Pain Game podcast. I would love to connect with them and hear their heartfelt stories of strength, wisdom, and awesomeness. Please follow the Pain Game podcast wherever you digest your podcast content. We will be there. Make sure you catch up on episodes if you're a little bit behind. I won't hate on you. And also review. If you've listened to the show, please give us a review. It certainly helps us find others that need to be listening to our stories and our message that we're putting out into this wonderful world that we live in. Visit us at thepaingamepodcast.com and follow us on all the socials. Thanks for listening, my little VIPs. Catch you on the other side.